For day 2, we're going to continue with solving equations from day 1. So same as last time, distribute when possible. So whenever you see parentheses, you need to distribute first. And then combining like terms, if you can combine stuff on the same side, you need to do that afterwards. So for number 1, there's no parentheses, so we cannot distribute. On the left, we can combine like terms. So these two. 4x minus 1x is 3x. On the right side, we can also combine like terms because both of these do not have an x. So 9 minus 3 is 6. From here, to get x by itself, the 3 is multiplying, so the opposite is to divide. The answer is 2. For number 2, on the left, we can combine. So negative 11 minus 1 is negative 12. On the right, we can combine. 7x plus 5x is 12x. To get the x by itself, the 12, this 12 right here is multiplying, so we divide. And then negative 12 divided by 12 is negative 1. Number 3, so no distributing. We also cannot combine like terms. So this is where we start moving stuff to the opposite side. I always start with the x's, so I have 4x and 6x. You can move whichever you want to. I'm going to move the 4x. Since 4x is positive, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So I have 1 is equal to 2x minus 15. And then now I have to move the 15 to the negative 15 to the other side. So I'm going to add it, do the opposite of what I see. 1 plus 15 is 16 equals 2x. To get the x by itself, I divide by the 2. The answer is 8. Number 4, cannot distribute, cannot combine. Oh, I actually can combine like terms on this side. So on the left, it stays the same. And then on the right, negative 8x minus 3x is negative 11x. To get the x's on the same side, I'm going to move the negative 7x to the other side. So I'm going to do plus 7x. So I have negative 16 is equal to negative 4x. So this negative 4 is still multiplying. Remember, you look after, and if there's no plus or minus there, there's a times. So we're going to divide by negative 4. X is equal to positive 4. Number 5, so we see parentheses, which means this is where we start distributing. That's the first thing you do. So we distributed 3 to the inside of the parentheses. 3, remember, this is multiplying. So 3 times 8x is 24x. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Bring everything else down. So distributing is your first step. And then combine like terms. On the left of the equal sign, I can combine these two. 24x plus 8x. That gives me 32x. Bring down the minus 18 equals 14. I'm now going to move the 18 by adding it. So I have 32x is equal to 32. And then to get the x by itself, I divide by the 32. So this is x. 32 divided by 32 is 1. Number 6, I see parentheses, so I distribute. And I get 3x minus 9 from the parentheses and distributing. Bring down the minus 2x. On the left, it stays the same. On the right, I can combine these two. 3x minus 2x is 1x. And then bring down the minus 9. Last step is to add 9. And I get negative 20. Okay, on the back, I see parentheses. So I'm going to just distribute. And I'm just going to rewrite everything else. So the 6 is the one that you distribute. So that becomes positive 12, and then it becomes positive 6x. On the left, I cannot combine any like terms, so it stays negative 28 plus 2x. On the right side, I have combined like terms of negative 8 plus 12, which gives me positive 4. And then I can start moving stuff around. I have the 2x and the 6x. I'm going to move the 2x by subtracting it. So I have negative 28 is equal to 4 plus 4x. And then I can move the 4 by subtracting it as well. Negative 28 minus 4 gives you negative 32 equals 4x. And then the last step would be to divide by 4 to get the x by itself. Final answer is x is equal to negative 8. Number 8, we distribute. So I have negative 1, that's still there. From distributing, I get positive 4x, negative 32. And then on the right, I still have 3x minus 27. On the left, I can combine like terms. I can combine this one and this one. I'm going to put the 4x first. Negative 1 minus 32, this is negative 33. On the right, I have 3x minus 27. And then I'm going to move one of the x's. So I have 4x and 3x. I'll move the 3x. I'm going to subtract it. So I have 1x minus 33 is equal to negative 27. Then I'm going to add 33. And I get x is equal to positive 6 as a final answer. Number 9, so here we have two sets of parentheses, so that just means you distribute twice. We distribute the 3, and then the 2 is negative, so always pay attention to the sign. You're distributing a negative 2. So with the 3, we get 3x minus 15. With the negative 2, we get negative 2x, positive 12. We combine like terms, so on the left, I can combine these two. 3x minus 2x is 1x. And then I can also combine these two. Negative 15 plus 12 is negative 3 equals positive 3. Last step is add 3. And the final answer is 6. Same thing on 10, distribute twice. So here we have negative 12 plus 4x minus 2x minus 16. I can combine these two. 4x minus 2x is positive 2x. And I can combine these two, which gives me negative 28. Now I'm going to move the 28 by adding it, which gives me 16. And then divide by 2. We get 8 for the final answer. Number 11. So I have x minus 1, and then I distribute the 7. So I have 7x minus 35. If you ever see a negative like this, where it's just kind of just floating there, that's a negative 1. And you do have to distribute that negative 1. So negative 1 times 6x is negative 6x. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. Combining like terms, we cannot do it on the left. But on the right, I can combine these two. 7x minus 6x is 1x. And then I can combine these two, which gives me negative 31. So at this point, this is where we move the x's. Since they're the same, I mean, either way, you can move whichever. I'm going to move this one right here. So I do minus x. What ends up happening is that these cancel out, but these also cancel out, leaving us with this. So this is where we're going to stop. I'm not going to keep going. You could, but you don't have to. So at this point, if you get rid of the variable, which is what we're looking for x, that's what solving is. If there is no longer a variable, just numbers, just constants, then you have no solution. You need to have a variable to have an answer. And then finally, we distribute. We get that. And then on the right side, I'm going to leave it like this real quick, and I'll just keep going. On the left, I can combine these two, and I get negative 13x. The negative 10s, I have negative 10 plus 10. These cancel out. Gives me 0. I'm not going to put a plus 0. Then I have an equal sign. On the right, I can combine those two. 5x minus 4x is 1x. So this is similar to the previous one because, well, this one it was numbers. This one is variable, so you're not done. You cannot say no solution with this. Choose one of the two and move it. So I'm going to just do plus 13x. You could have done minus 1x if you wanted to. So I have 14x. On the left, since they cancel out, you need to put a 0. Because we need to put something on the opposite side of the equal sign. And then here you just keep going. To get the x by itself, just like you would with any problem, you divide by 14. I know it looks weird, but it's the same thing. And then 0 divided by 14 is 0. That's your final answer.